everyone, and welcome to part 8 of my series on the Pythagorean triangle. And as in the previous video, I'll be discussing how to interpret and analyze your personal six-pointed star. Today, this video is going to be on number 4, and Pythagoras called 4 the symbol of the eternal principle of creation. He found number 4 to be extraordinary and very, divine and spiritual. For those of you who are listening and also study and use the tarot, you know that the 4 elements of creation are represented by the 4 suits of the tarot, namely the minor arcana, which represents the mundane world we live and participate in on a day-to-day basis. The number 4 is infinitely also connected to the sun. Now let me show you here when we look at the Pythagorean triangle. Let me move this before I start a fire. Okay, here we have the number 1, the sun, Sunday, and here we have the number 4, which we are discussing today. And these two are very connected. And that's what I'm going to explain here for you today, because understanding that connection is going to help you define the qualities and the purpose and blend in those qualities and purpose in your chart and in your numbers. Where the sun is considered to be esoterically masculine and positive, if they're working together and we realize that opposites attract, then we know that number 4 is negative and feminine. So what does that mean? Well, it means that 1 is the creative force and 4 brings form to that creative force, or that which was created by the life, energy, and power of the number 1. So in alchemical terms, it basically is sublimation and transmutation of structure. Okay? Now I'm going to describe that a little more, going back to the tarot with the number 1. And let me make sure you see this on your monitor. Great. Okay. The Magician and the Wheel of Fortune both have the number 4 within them in its meaning and its symbology because of how important it is. Look at the 4 elements, which we just talked about, of the 4 suits in the tarot on the Magician's table. And of course, we know that the Magician being number 1, what that means is he's taking that one power from above. That power gives him knowledge to create with the tools, the 4 elements, on his table. And he manifests, so from the unseen creative force, which has no structure, made manifest through the 4 elements of creation, now brought down to earth. In 10 basically is just a higher octave of the number 1. There's a lot of symbology representing the number 4. Let's begin with the 3 letters in the circle. We have T-A-R-O, 4 letters, Taro, intertwined with the 4 Hebrew letters of Jehovah, which we know is I-H-V-H. Also connected to the Tetragrammaton, we're not going to go there. But there you have the 4 letters and the 4 letters of Jehovah. You also have what in the Bible, in Ezekiel 1:10, was these mystical creatures on the 4 corners. We find them in the Wheel of Fortune. These 4 mystical creatures also represent to the 4 zodiac signs, and each of the fixed zodiac signs represent one of the 4 elements or the 4 suits of the tarot. Very quickly, we have Leo, that is a lion. It is a fire sign, fire element representing wands. We have Taurus, an earth sign representing the pentacles or coins. We have the angelic or man figure. It is Aquarius. That is an air element, and it represents the swords, the suit of swords in the tarot. And then we have the eagle or the hieroglyph or the scorpion in Scorpio. Scorpio is a water sign, and in the tarot, water is represented by the cups. And then lastly, we have the serpent Typhon. Now, Typhon was known as a very evil Egyptian god, but it was also used to represent how the life force, when it was descending, is also the creative force that the magician is using in order to manifest. Here it has been transmuted into a serpent devouring its own tail, and it has now is now working in a constructive way to manifest. The last thing to keep in mind with the 1 and the 4 is 1 is the divine will, which we know is an interpretation of the tarot, working with the individual will represented by number 4. The 2 work in harmony. Okay, so let's go on now and discuss the interpretation of the Pythagorean triangles. And let's go ahead and talk about what the number 4 represents. Totality, perfection. Some keywords that you may want to use and keep in mind are number 4 is very practical. It is methodical. It is service-oriented, and it's very dignified. 4 represents aspects of self-discipline, and that could be deliberate or it could be cautious. So take out your Pythagorean triangle. Do you have any 4s? And how many do you have? Let's talk about them. If you have 1 4, which sits here on the base, that person or individual has an innate ability to stretch a dollar. Because they're so hardworking, they really, they're not going to waste their money, and they enjoy using their hands, and they get to the heart of the matter. They don't like to waste time, energy on frivolous things. They don't spend their money on things that they don't believe are practical, valuable. So they like quality more than quantity. They place great importance on cleanliness and organization. So having 1 4 is a wonderful asset to have in your chart. If you have 2 4s, then this gives the individual a creative and artistic ability. That's also true with the single 4, but more so with the double 4s. They may also be collector of sorts, where the single 4 usually isn't. And money may come and, let's get to our next page, go out very quickly. They may There may come a time when there is a need for balance in how they think, feel, and act. That will present themselves in a way that shows that there's an adjustment to be made or there's balance, because 4 really has to be balanced in order for it to feel and work in the best possible way. We now come to 3 4s. If you have 3 4s, work may take precedence for you. Those with 3 4s enjoys being active physically and active in activities that utilize good body strength and mobility. They seem to shy away from work behind a desk. Many work outdoors in nature and in wildlife. They're ecologically minded and they seek to improve or preserve. They like working with earth, the land. Now, if you have 4 number 4s, now this is rare, but it is possible. You could be very set in your ways and have a great talent to use your hands and mental focus, but it may become obsessive for you. You have to, again, create that balance. You tend to worry about financial security and somewhat fearful of disease, germs, all of that. And sooner or later, there's an urging of the heart to be shown and to be acknowledged, to be demonstrative, to show there's a soft part of you, and to allow your emotions to be revealed. If there is no 4 in your chart, well, those with the missing number 4 in their triangles seem to struggle to be organized, on time, and orderly and systematic. The possibility of finding work that is rewarding or staying employed for a long period of times could be difficult. They can be a jack of all trades, but the master of none. They tend to be impatient and easily bored. The lesson for those who do not have a 4 or secondary numbers that have aspects of the 4 need to consider the needs and shortcomings of others and be more patient. The lack of a number 4 vibration in your date of birth can be helped greatly by having the following. And here they are. If you have a 4 or a 22-4 life path number, if you are a Virgo, a Gemini, or Capricorn sun or rising sign, if your life path number is 5, then you have the benefit number of a number 4. And if your date of birth was on a Wednesday, and of course, having a number 1 in your grid. All right, everyone, that's all I'm going to be sharing with you today. Please let me know if you have any questions. Love to have some comments and some dialogue with you. Thanks, everyone, for joining me. Bye for now.